All right, what's going on, beautiful people? Here we are together again on a lovely Sunday evening. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you guys this evening. So, the title of this stream is Colorism in the quote unquote Communitah, right? And of course, I've added mulatto perspective because, of course, me, I am a mulatto male, white and black, mixed race man. So, I'm going to have a unique perspective on this. And as the thumbnail shows, you have a gentleman in the middle, which we're going to be covering his broadcast or his show, which is Phil Donahue, right? So let's get right into it. And I guess I can just share briefly. Phil Donahue, I was never familiar with the gentleman until about a year ago when I started analyzing some of this kind of quote unquote colorism content. My channel is not focused on the color contrast, okay? Because on my European side, they're all, extremely pale skin, light skinned European. On my African side, they're all dark skinned, what you call ADOS or FBA, Black Americans. So my whole perception's a little different. I didn't grow up with this whole light skin, dark skin color contrast kind of dichotomy. Okay. Because I've always had that kind of influence, or I've always had that representation, I guess I can say, or just my upbringing as far as my family, my blood, lineage, heritage. I've always been exposed to both sides, which are kind of extreme, kind of parallels, basically. So I look at things a little differently. And of course, with me, more so, it's going to go into the kind of culture, behavior, and identity component. I'm not fixated on the color um, contrast situation, but a lot of people are, especially in the quote unquote communitah. So I have a lot of those individuals who are subscribers, they listen to me, etc., so they can get my perspective on this matter. But I just wanted to make that disclaimer that this is not a colorism channel. Like I said in my other video or live stream, I don't do quote unquote MLS content. I'm not an MLS man. Okay. I'm a biracial man or mulatto man for all intents and purposes. So that whole mixed light skin, what they call MLS, what they're basically trying to do is hoodwink you. They're trying to, basically pull you back in to serve as a mule for the black community. They're including you and grouping you in with that group, that quote unquote light skin. They're just black. Okay, they're light skinned blacks. They're black. They identify as black. Okay, they're not white. They're not European. They don't have that cultural, or they don't have that heritage, the influence of that. And so I wanted to make that clear starting out with this broadcast when you hear my perspective, because I got a lot of people who listen and they have something to say about that. So of course you see the gentleman on my screen, who literally has more considerable European heritage than even me myself. I'm basically 50-50 biracial. I haven't done a genetic test as of yet. In the future, sometime when I do, I can for sure show the results. But I mean, you guys look at me, you guys know what's cracking, I'm basically Puerto Rican passing, right? But this guy right here is what they call white passing. It's basically a white man. Okay, this is Rock Newman, okay, on the screen. A younger Rock Newman. As you can see and he has a YouTube channel here. He basically is a pro-black and interviews a lot of black people. And he's a part of the black community, right? Very proud of his position, virtue signaler, etc. Phil Donahue, 1988. So this was a few years before I was even born. I'm a millennial. Like I said, I've never even heard of Phil Donahue until I started looking at this context. I realized most of that guy's audience, this is like before the internet, guys, okay? Most of that guy's audience, Phil Donahue, the white man that I have on the thumbnail, his audience were blacks. I mean, basically, even at that time, you had like, I think Arsenio Hall. This is before my time, but you had some other people like that. As far as the talk shows, I can just say from my time, sitcoms were big. Like I said, I was a fan of like Living Single and Fresh Prince and like Boy Meets World, stuff like that. But the talk shows, they had like Jerry Springer, right? when I was a kid, and Jerry Springer, who Ricky Lake and Maury Povich. So you had a lot of that weird stuff when I was a kid. But Phil Donahue was before my time. Anyways, this is Rock Newman here. We're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna give you guys my mulatto perspective on the whole colorism matter, because it's always and forever will be a trending topic in the Communitah. I'm not a member of the Communitah, never have been, never will be, but I'm just an outside observer giving you guys my kind of perspective, observation, and analysis on the matter. And I'm happy to do so. So, of course, if you guys like the content, please hit the like button. I do appreciate that. Your guys' engagement does mean something over here. Let me have this disclaimer, fair use. We're going to get right into it. And of course, as all things, I respect your guys' time. So I will have the timestamps, the time codes attached to this video in the description box. And this is a 40-minute video that I'm going to play here, but I'm not going to cover all of it. I'm going to skip a lot of it. I'm going to go over the parts that I feel like are essential to me as a mulatto, providing my perspective on it. Let's get right into it. Fair use.
I have been close.
It's funny, I just want to point it out. Rock Newman, light skinned black. No, because that's how he identifies. He identifies himself as a light skinned black. So they're honoring his title. It's kind of an oxymoron, right? Light skin black. You're a black, but you're light skinned. Well, black is black, right? Well, this light skin thing. Let's see. Let's drop his ass in Zimbabwe and let's see how black he really is. Let's drop his ass in West Africa, like Ghana or Nigeria, where I was at. Then let's really see how black he really is, right? You can only pull this one drop bullshit here in the United States of America. You can get away with it, okay? Just like they get away with all the trans and the little freaks and weirdo stuff in America. You can't pull that stuff in Africa. You can't pull all that trans stuff and gender fluidity and light and the one drop rule. You can't pull that shit over there in the motherland. You can only pull that stuff here. So accept the privilege, acknowledge the privileges that you have as an American, okay, that you can partake in the circus, the foolishness, enjoy it while you can. Because other people, they don't see things the same way that you do. That's what I learned first when I went to Ghana. It's a liberating experience. Beautiful people. I love the Ghanaian people. I plan to go back someday. Just wanted to, let that be known. Continue this, looking at him. This is a white man, okay, which is all good. But I mean, he's black identified, right? He's light skin, right? Continuing on, fair use.
To who based who my friends were, who based who my girlfriend was, thought that I was disgracing the family and the community that I was in because I was going with the blackest girl in my school.
Disgracing his family, going with the blackest girl in his school. Of course, because that is part of the process of the being absorbed, right? Your mating habits, that's part of that process to get acceptance into that group. You have to date the blackest, be with the blackest, of course, if you want that acceptance. So we see the game. This is 1988, 40 years ago. Close to 40 years ago. Long time ago, guys. Several, few generations or a couple, whatever. But yeah, you looking at you, yeah, you got to be with the blackest thing. And the blackest men, okay, they can get the lightest things like Michael Jordan and Shaquille O'Neal, all these guys, the blackest guys, they can get the lightest things, right? But you, if you want to sit at the table with them and eat your chicken wings and, play your Xbox and smoke your blunts, you got to get the blackest thing if you want that acceptance, right? Fair use.
Your family was angry about that.
Absolutely.
So your family essentially was saying to you, look, you're lucky. Look at your skin color. You don't have to worry about everything that afflicts America. Don't blow it now by dating a black skinned person.
Absolutely.
Linda Medesian, you're multiracial.
Right.
Now, what's the difference?
Right. Well,
And aren't we all?
well, multiracial.
No, we're not all multiracial, Phil Donahue. We know your audience. I'm looking at the audience there. It's 1988. So basically all blacks, okay, your audience. No, we're not all multiracial, okay? A lot of white Americans have Native American, indigenous blood in them. That's true. You have a large percentage, percentage of the American stock, of the European stock, is that of the Italian kind of extraction. And a lot of those Italians, the Southern Europeans, they were, of course, we know were basically, how do I want to phrase this? They were, if I can say, conquered for a period of time by the Moors and the Berbers, okay, the Iberian Peninsula, it's even Spain and Italy. So a lot of time, the men in those armies, they basically interbred with those demographics of people in Southern Europe. So they have some trace elements of African and Arabic ancestry. Okay, but that's only a percentage of it. Okay, of the European, of the excuse me, of the American European stock. I would say probably 30% of the American European stock is of German extraction. That's part of my heritage. My mother's side is German, but also you have the Irish, right? So this idea where Phil Donahue starts out, we're all mixed, we're all multiracial. No, that's the same game the blacks try to push, okay, to keep your ass back in to serve them, okay? So we're not playing that game now. We're going to be ultra specific now. We have the technology and information at our disposal to be able to analyze things accurately and yeah, move forward with it. Continuing on, fair use.
Is a person with one parent of one race and another parent of another race, or a person with a parents who are.
And I love how you look at her complexion and even like the guy earlier, this guy, Rock Newman, everyone's favorite light-skinned savior, right? They're basically the same complexion, probably genetic makeup. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. But Linda here, it says multiracial, proudly identifies as multiracial. So I like her, of course, obviously. Where the other guys, Rock Newman's we're going to get into that in this video. Traumatized at an early age. Okay, that's of course shifted his perception. But this lady is proudly multiracial. Okay, 1988, which there probably wasn't that many of you. A lot of the mulattoes that I've talked to the past year who are biracial, mulatto, etc., right? They're just black identified. They're just trying to find their way to marry blacks, serve blacks any capacity they can. And they're like, the hell with you multiracials. The hell with you biracials. If you're not kissing black ass, the hell with you, right? So this is kind of like an outlier, especially at that time. I feel like now today you have a lot more people out here like you who are looking at you and acknowledging you saying, yeah, I agree. Yeah, this is somebody that I basically identify with. Okay. Multiracial, which is a correct um classification. Let's get right into it.
Multiracial themselves. My father is black and American Indian. My mother is Irish. So I'm a blend of three races.
And you think that this is important because you want another category of.
Yeah, definitely.
So in other words, on your driver's license, or when I know it's not legal now to do that.
In some countries, it is legal. I don't know if the United States, if it used to be legal, but I know in some countries it is legal. They have actually a racial classification on your driver's license. In the United States, they have like your eye color and your hair color. Of course, I'm bald, so what the hell they're going to put? Still going to put black hair, which I have, but they put your eye color and hair color. But in some driver's license, they have your like skin color. In Latin America, I believe, like Mexico, they have moreno, which is like brown skin, right? They actually have that. And I think I showed some receipts in one of my videos in Dominican Republic. They actually have like their kind of racial classification on the driver's license. So some nations, they do have that. But in America, I don't know if it used to be a thing, but regardless, let's continue on, fair use.
For what purpose? For what?
You can just tell looking at the audience. There's topic colorism. They invited all these people here. It's all blacks. They're all blacks. So if you as a multiracial person, you're like, look, I am something uniquely different. I respect my my African heritage, right? But I'm not the same like these people. Okay. But of course, they're going to disagree. They're like, no, you're just like us. Keep your ass in your place. I saw someone did a video. They did kind of like an analysis on the golden sphere. And their title of their video was basically sit your black ass down. That's literally how they kind of look at you. They look at you as old. So you need to get back in the crab bucket. Don't think you better than me. Shit, when my massa, when the police pulls you over, they gonna treat you like you black. Sit your black ass down, right? And in that same video, okay, there was a woman. I did another video on that where the woman was basically like she couldn't see the humanity in biracials. I'm like, you cannot make this shit up. Do you want to be in a group with people who don't even like acknowledge your humanity? But that's literally the cards we're kind of dealt with right now. When we look at the situation, I mean, to me, everyone knows where I stand on these things, but I'm looking at other people. It's like, damn, they're trying to like fit into that, find their place, a seat at the table with that, with people who can't even acknowledge your humanity. I mean, that is shit. You cannot convince me to accept that. But yeah, the audience is all just a bunch of blacks. Okay. So you have a multiracial person who's basically standing firm in her identity, acknowledging that she wants a category that lets her claim all of herself. And of course, the audience are not going to agree with that. So it's just, yeah, fair use.
Purpose would a category be deployed?
It would validate the reality that has been in America for at least 350 years.
Which is?
There have been multiracial people, and I include in that definition biracial people who are just a blend of two races.
But isn't that, wouldn't that be Rock's circumstance? Isn't he biracial?
I don't know.
Yeah, because you look at them side by side, it's obvious they're basically in the same category phenotypically. If we're going off that, we go off genetics. She's claiming the Indian thing, which of course he'd probably have some native indigenous blood as well. But of course, he faced a traumatic experience as a 12-year-old boy, as an adolescent, that shaped his reality. So he's ultra militantly pro-whack, right? Where with her, not so much. She has a black father, white mother, or yeah. And I think her father, she said, is indigenous, partially Native American. But she wants the multiracial category. This guy's like, no, I'm just a black, and all the blacks were nice to me. This is not the 1960s or 70s, homie. This is 2023. It's a new day, homie. Okay. But looking at both of them standing, sitting, I should say, next to each other, it's pretty interesting. They're both in the same category. Okay. And of course, we did have the mulatto designation. Okay. 1924 Racial Integrity Act took that away from you guys. Here you are today. A lot of you, I'd say most of you, just trying to beg and find your place underneath the Communitah to serve them. It's not working out for a lot of you people, as I can see. But of course, I'm here, right, to add some clarity and a unique perspective to show, in fact, that you guys do have an alternative option. Let me continue on, fair use.
Are you?
I don't find any significance to developing another race. It's something that's another division.
He says it's another division. He doesn't find a significance to developing another race. It's another division. And of course, the audience claps because that's his folks, right? He's the light-skinned savior. He's the virtue signaler extraordinaire to serve them. It's a majority black audience. Just like when you go over to the Ghetto Grandma or Multifacial Hood Rat, any of those channels, right? They basically, cater to a majority black audience. So it's a similar circumstance there. And even those individuals, they look at themselves as being a subgroup underneath the blacks. As you can see, if you probably talk to Rock Newman, yeah, I'm mixed. I'm, 90% European, but I'm a light-skinned black. I'm just a subgroup underneath the blacks. I mean, they literally talk about themselves. They think of themselves like that, like they're beneath somebody. They're a subgroup. I'm not beneath whites. I'm not beneath blacks. I'm a mulatto. I'm whole. I'm one. I'm a unique category. There's a lot of people out here around the world just like me. I acknowledge that. But yeah, this woman acknowledges that as well, that we're our own unique kind of category, right? But there's a lot of people who are similar like us, genetic wise, heritage wise. They don't look at it that way. They look at themselves as basically being a subgroup. And that's what I look at with this Rock Newman. So, of course, he loves that. Oh, yeah, Quayne. Yes, Quayne. Everyone's clapping for him, cheering him on. It's like, of course, of course. I've been seeing this for a minute now. Let me continue on, fair use. You just look at the audience. It's you know what the come on. Yeah. They're not going to be with that on that woman's side. This multiracial woman who's, they're not going to be on her side. She's like, "Look, I'm multiracial. My mom is white or Irish," she said. Her father's African, American, and Indian. They're not going to be on this woman's side. She's like, "Look, I want a category that's for us." And he's like, "Oh no, I don't we don't need another category. That's division." I'm like, people like this are always going to be here. This is going to be your main opposition though. Okay? And your main opposition is going to be characters like him. It's not going to be the dark skinned blacks. It's easy to spot them from a mile away because first thing they're going to do is be like, "We're all mixed. We're all mixed. I'm an MGM." That's the first thing they're going to do. So it's easy to spot them. It's like, okay, another interloper getting in our business. It's easy to spot them. But you have guys like this or gals, okay, who are similar to you as far as heritage, culture, not even culture, but heritage wise, even phenotypically, they look like you, but they basically have another motive in place, and that's to serve the communitah. That's where the conflict of interest arises. Let me continue on for you.
Well, that's an expected opinion because that opinion has been here for a very long time. And what I'm saying is that there are people, much like myself, who want to be affirmed and accepted for all of who we are and not ignore, 2/3 of our genetic heritage to please society.
Exactly. And she eloquently articulated that perfectly because I'm with this woman. I'm exactly like her. I acknowledge myself fully. And like she said, there's a lot of people just like her. You're right. And this is like almost 40 years ago. I'm watching this now. Like, yeah, I'm with you right there. You have younger people, even younger than me, Gen Z, who are like, look, there's a new generation now. We're acknowledging ourselves fully. We're not playing into this game where we're gonna deny, like she said, two-thirds of who we are just to please society. When they talk about please society, who are they talking about? Pleasing blacks, pleasing the pro-blacks, the liberals, okay, social justice warriors, the proud victims. They want us to deny our heritage and who we are just to please the basically bottom dwellers. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm not going to have that type of existence out here. Not me. Shit. And I'll take the label as the bad guy or the quote unquote racist. I'll take that. I'm not a bitch. You're not going to come up out here and punk me. Fuck that. If I can say that with some kind of harsh vulgarity, you're not punking me out here. This idea. And they have a lot of these people who they basically get them to denounce their European heritage, European side, even if they have a white parent, their white mom or white dad. They get these biracials to basically downplay their white parent to serve these blacks. It works especially if their white father was never in the picture. You have a lot of biracials, their white father, maybe their mom was a whore, okay, and they got knocked up by a white man. The white man was never around. So it's easier for them to fall into this pro-whack virtue signaling kind of operation because it kind of gives them a position to be like, they have a resentment there already there. More on that later. Let's continue on, fair use.
I am affirming all of who I am, my Black heritage. I'm very proud of my Black heritage. I love.
Let me pause that there because that's the same thing with me too. It's like she's proud of her Black heritage. Same with me. You guys know I have like African art. Been to Ghana, African country. I practice the djembe drum. I own a African instrument. So it's like I'm very proud of my African heritage. I don't shy away from it, right? But I'm realistic about who I am, that I am a mulatto individual, dual heritage, European and African. And I adhere to that and I uphold that. And I'm seeking others who are similar like me. And there's a lot of you guys in Europe, in Caribbean, South America. And trust me, I love you guys. You guys give me inspiration to continue to spread the message. And so I wanted to point that out because there's a lot of people who try to make it seem like if you acknowledge yourself fully, that somehow you're kind of downplaying your African heritage or your African roots. It's like, no, no, no. Because, you know, the the former American slave, like the psyche is so defeated where they will literally try to bring you down with them, right? I don't have those self-esteem issues. Like, I'm proud of my African heritage. Everywhere I go, I uphold that part of me. So I want to make that clear because your detractors, they'll try to use that as a weapon. They'll weaponize the one drop rule against you. Basically, oh, you just don't want to be black. No, I'm half black. I'm not as black as you. So, have fun with that. But let's continue on, fair use.
My father, I feel a bond with Black people. I feel a bond with all of who I am, all the people.
I do think this audience, though, might perceive your interest in having another category.
Well, yeah, because the audience is a bunch of blacks. We get it. Okay. African Americans, I'm sure, majority former slaves. So, of course, they want to keep her ass stuck in the crab bucket, serving her because she's going to be a minority amongst that group. She's smart enough to realize, look, amongst that group, if she's calculated in that group, she's going to be a minority, which means since they're the majority, they're going to dictate the rules and terms. And a lot of these people, these quote unquote golden people, these light skins crying, these golden people, they're getting a shitty deal. They're getting a shitty deal from the Communitah, and it's up to them if they want to negotiate it or not. I mean, I'm biracial. Okay, I'm not golden or MLS, whatever, or MGM. I'm a mulatto guy, biracial, black, white. So look, I'm just an outside observer. Like, look, you know, yeah, they got to negotiate a better deal. To me, it's like, look, if you're not paying me or dancing or singing songs for me, I don't even deal with you. That's the situation I'm in right now. I don't even deal with you. But I can jump up on his YouTube stream and give my kind of mulatto perspective and analysis on the matter. For sure. It's a free country. This is America. I can do that. I'm entitled to do that. And having fun with it too. Let me continue on, fair use.
Namely multiracial, as an effort to distance yourself from blackness.
No, not at all. It's to affirm all of who I am.
Okay.
And you can hear the ruckus in the back, right? Because what they're going to basically, your detractors, is that you want to distance yourself from blackness. You just don't want to be black. That's what the slaves will tell you. You don't want to be black. But it's not distancing myself. It's affirming all of who I am. Oh, well, my massa, the one drop rule says, my massa, when he pulls you over, the police, they gonna treat you as you black. That's what they all say, man. I got over almost 100,000 views on that Miss Mulatto clip. All the comments that I'm getting from these slaves, it's amazing. They literally fall in line with that old world paradigm. They adhere to their masses, basically principles, and they want to push that on you. No, not today, not in 2023, going into 2024. Not anymore. We're here now. Continuing on, fair use.
Now, do you understand this
Yes,
rumble that we've got here?
I grew up for 28 years.
Yeah, you understand this rumble we got here. Yeah, we know the wrong. It's blacks who want to keep you as a subordinate. Yeah, we all get it. You have a majority black audience there. Like, we're used to that. We know what it's all about. You guys want to keep us as a subordinate underneath your control, where you're the majority. So if we're in your spaces, you can dictate the rules and the terms. That's why you create your own space where you make the rules. Simple solution. We have the solutions. A lot of these people, these black identified biracials, still want to abide by the rules that the Communitah has set up for them because they're too afraid to hurt their feelings, right? Even though they can hurt your feelings, and you just got to kind of take it on the chin. When you hurt their feelings, it's it's a problem for you guys, not for me. I'm sitting here laughing. I don't give a shit. Let me continue on, fair use.
Having black people, hold me at arm's length, basically, and
you weren't them, and you weren't white. And why? Because you weren't black enough.
Right, I was not black enough. Right.
Well, look who's here, Edward Lawson. Who will forget?
She said she's not black enough. Yeah, well, you literally said you're 2/3 of European lady or indigenous European. I apologize. So I have some of you guys up in here. You guys hit the like button. Like I said, I'm going to fast forward this stream. I'm not going to play the whole, or the video, I should say. Fast forward the video. I'm not going to play the whole video, guys. I'm going to have this video in the description box. So, of course, you guys can watch the whole thing on the playback. I'm just giving you guys my mulatto perspective, which, of course, will ruffle some feathers, which is a good thing. It'll cause you guys to think. And, yeah. Just give me a have the link, or I'll drop the link in a little bit if you guys want to jump up here and kind of challenge this quote unquote rhetoric, because I have kind of some of your Rock Newman types, your pro wax, who will say it's rhetoric. I'm like, why don't you start a channel and produce content instead of your whole channel? The function is to basically challenge me, like that's how much of a loser you are. You can't, produce anything authentic and original. You got to challenge what I'm doing over here. I don't give a shit about you. You're not a client or a student. You're not paying me. What the hell do I need you for? Let me continue on with this clip. Right back at it. Fair use.
Just share with us here at the outset.
Well, the first thing I'd like to share is that I'm on sabbatical leave from Howard University.
Howard University, of course. I toured the campus as well. And that school was, of course, it's named after a white Union officer after the Civil War. And that school basically served as a kind of law and medicine school to serve the plantation owner class, their mulatto children, right? That's where your HBCUs basically were developed to serve the kind of mulatto class in the United States. And of course, he basically represents that, contingent. Let's continue on. Fair use.
You have my apology.
The second thing is that I want to go back to the dilemma that you posed between yourself and the audience.
He's a psychologist, W. Curtis Banks. If the volume's good, let me know, guys. If it's not, let me know. Let me see if I can fix it, but it does sound kind of low. But regardless, let me continue on. Fair use.
Why is it that you raised the question about about complexion discrimination? And you have a denial from the audience that there is a clear preference for light skin.
True, we did.
The reason for that is that the audience is right, first of all. There is not, and apparently has not been, a preference for light skin complexion in the black community, any more than there has been ever a preference for white complexion in the black community.
Who wants in there?
And I agree with this man 100%. He is, as a man, looking at him, mulatto man. I don't know his whole background. I'm just speculating that in his observation as a psychologist, trained at Howard, there is not a preference for light skin in the black community. The black people in the United States of America, they have a preference for dark skin. All your pro-black circles, all the pro-wax stuff, you have it to even where people who are mixed with European, they will identify themselves. These pro-wax, they'll say that it's colonizer blood. I'm 30% or I'm 10%, whatever, colonizer. They'll literally identify themselves and say that they have colonizer blood in them. I mean, that's how egregious it is. So yes, they have a preference for dark skin. And even him as a man, his perspective is spot on. I'm not from the black community, okay? I'm just an outside observer. I've seen this stuff throughout my adulthood, observing this stuff. And I realized, and there's even a comment in this video that I'm going to share. But yeah, I mean, if you're a man in their community, I heard somebody else, another content creator, say basically, if you're a biracial guy, if you're a light-skinned guy, like this cat right here, now his status and his position, his prestige will be a lot higher in the white community than it will ever be in the black community. Okay, if you're a biracial woman, a light-skinned woman, your status will be higher in the black community. We're talking about America now, guys, okay? This is what it is. I've been noticing this for several years now, okay? A guy like this guy on the screen, he could be like a Neil deGrasse Tyson type of guy. He could be this mulatto professor in the white spaces, and he can get paid a ton of money, live in a nice white neighbor community, marry a white woman. He can assimilate into their group very effectively. His status will be a lot higher. I feel like if you're in a black community, all the dark skins, all the criminals, the thugs, okay, the pookies, oh, you ain't from the hood, you don't listen to Nipsey Hussle, get out of there. It's a shithole, it's a cesspool, get out of there. And of course, all the women, all your Communitah queens, they want the dark skinned pookie, okay? They have over 75+% illegitimacy rates. They got a bunch of bastard kids running around carjacking, doing crimes. That's literally they want to be baby mamas. Okay, so a guy like you're not going to adhere to that policy. They're going to cast you out to the side. You're going to get casted out to the side. I've noticed this through my adulthood. So it's obvious your status is going to be higher in another community, or you create your own community, a mulatto community. Okay, some of us out here we're envisioning that. And yeah, your status amongst blacks, there's not a preference for you, bro, because you're a dude. And the black community is the most misandrous community in the United States of America, where it's literally acceptable to hate men. In other communities, they check these motherfuckers. You have these yappity yap mouth bitches who run their mouth about all this feminism and shit. Even I saw Tommy Lauren. I know she just got married. Okay. Remember, she tried to say, it doesn't matter what city I'm in, men are trash. She had this whole video about men are trash. They checked that bitch real quick. Okay. That's the white men in that community. They checked her. I don't see it in Asian communities, in Arabic communities. I don't see these women getting all uppity, yapping their mouth with all this misandrous talking points. Only in the black Communitah, where it's acceptable to hate men. And most black men are raised by bastard baby makers, single moms. So they teach their boys to hate other men, to compete with other men in an unhealthy fashion. And this is what you have. They don't build businesses and collaborate with each other. They compete with each other for scraps. And it's very anti-man. It's very misandrous. It's very obvious. You see that all over the place, not just social media, but real life situations. So a guy like him, because he's light skinned, yeah, they're going to hate on his ass. But if he's a woman, oh, it's the preference. You know, we can make you a single mom, another bastard baby maker. So I saw this comment here is pretty interesting. This is the first comment that pops up from Anderson 2 weeks ago. It says right here, colorism affects women and men differently. Dark-skinned men, sexy thugs, right? You have a lot of your biracial women who are bastard baby makers who have a place in the Communitah, right? They got their little dark-skinned sexy thug, but of course they're baby mamas, right? Congratulations. So yeah, you're dark-skinned men, 75% illegitimacy rate in the Communitah. Have fun. Dark-skinned woman, masculine rough. And of course, a lot of the masculine rough, the dark-skinned women, they have an issue with the biracial women, the preference, right? Because they're dark-skinned thugs, right, are choosing the preference over them. That's a whole nother discussion. I don't do the bitch female politics, not over here. And then light-skinned men, soft punks. I'm not a punk. But that's, like I said, I'm not from the Communitah. So I look at this and I see this stuff. I'm like, I don't deal with you people like that. I don't know you people. You ain't fucking punking me like that. Most of you people work for white people anyways. I sit here and laugh like shit. I need to get some of you people on the payroll to work for me. Fuck that. Light-skinned man, you're a soft punk. Light-skinned, light women, feminine, beautiful. So, you know, and I'm not going to go into all the 78 comments down under that 2 weeks ago. We know what it is, people. We know what it is with them. Okay. Let's continue on before I hurt some more feelings. Fair use.
What do you, yeah, yes.
What I like to say that has not been my experience in this world.
And it's not her experience because she doesn't have a Planet Fitness card either. And of course, she's going to give you the female perspective because, like I've already pre-explained, you know, the biracial women are more pedestalized amongst the little dark, sexy thugs, as that one commenter put, right? So of course, she's looking at it through the female kind of lens, right? Where the light-skinned women are preference. You're talking to a man. The dude on the stage was a Howard graduate, a psychologist. He's a man. He's giving you the male perspective. He doesn't care about your bitch preference and the oh, well, you just want the dark, sexy thugs to choose you. There's a lot of options out here. They can choose Latinas and everyone else. And so, like I said, she's gonna give you this perspective where it's like, no, no. In the man's perspective, look, get the best deal you can out here. As an outside observer, someone like me, I'm looking at it like, man, it's a fucking cesspool. It's a cesspool. You're gonna get a shitty deal if you're a dude. If you're a biracial woman, I guess, if you want, your bastard illegitimate kids, you want to put on that pedestal, whatever. That's have fun. But don't come crying back to me. That's what I ask. Don't come crying back to me with your bastard kids. I'm not interested. But let's listen to what this Queen has to say, okay?
My experience from even black brothers is light skin. Hey, light skin. I mean, they prefer light skinned women. I've even
That's all it is sexual preference, right? They prefer light-skinned women. That's all it is. She's talking about what the men prefer. They don't prefer her ass. Well, yeah, because you're overweight, ma'am. Okay. And that's a big problem with it in your Communitah. You're overweight. Maybe if you did that, some self-reflection, some discipline, maybe your results would change. But she's not looking at it from the male perspective. When there was a man there, college educated, Howard University man, who told you, look, the blacks prefer dark skin, as she does too. She's worried because the dark skinned men, they want the light skin. You see that? She's validating his perspective that you people only care about what the dark skins think, what the dark skins want. You don't give a shit about what the light skins want. I know this. I'm an outside observer looking at this like it's obvious. When I look at this queen who's literally telling you all she gives a damn about is what the dark-skinned men want, the sexy thugs, the baby types, because they're picking Danny Lay and all the mixed and light-skinned women. They're not picking you, Precious or whatever. That's all you're concerned about. She doesn't give a shit about the light-skinned men. She doesn't want you people, you light-skinned men. And that's why I sit here and I laugh. Like, this is hilarious. This is just easy content for me to produce, right? Fair use, continuing on.
seen sisters wearing 3 shades lighter foundation because they're not happy with their blackness. There is discrimination.
She's talking about the sisters, the queens. You got the African medallion on her neck or whatever. It's a queen. The sisters wearing foundation, they're not happy with their blackness. So it's gynocentric kind of basically viewpoint. She's concerned about what the dark-skinned men, what they want, concerned because the queens are altering their image to appease the dark-skinned men. She doesn't give a shit about what you light-skinned men think. Very obvious, very evident looking at this. I laugh. Like, this is, I don't know. There's people who are still stuck there. It's because, like I said earlier, it's because that's how they're kind of socialized and acculturated in that they have no other frame of reference to look at the world. Just get a passport and explore. Get a passport and explore. Meet some people, and you will see that not everyone looks at things the same way as these kind of slaves in America. It is a large, vast world, and not everybody out here is conquered. Very simple. But yeah, she doesn't care about you, light-skinned dude. You're up on stage telling your perspective. No, these blacks, they have a preference for dark skin. I remember there was a video, it was that lady Ella May, biracial lady from the UK, Ella May, R&B artist. And she did a video, the Boot Up song. One of the first comments I saw on that song was literally a woman who's like, "Ooh, you got a dark skinned man in the video." Maybe I can probably pull it up or something just to right quick since I'm talking about it. It was that song Boot Up, right? I remember this was years ago. I watched the video and I saw the comment. In the comment, there was like a woman who's like, "Oh, you got a dark skinned man in the video," right? And I'm sitting there like, damn, you know, they literally have a preference for fucking dark skin. Now I'm not talking about the that's their community, okay? And the biracials who are in that community as well. Ella May, biracial woman, and look at that dark skinned man. That's her boo. We all booed up. Booed up. You guys know the song. It's a catchy tune, right? I don't need to repeat the lyrics. But it's like, I remember seeing a comment down here where it's like, there was a woman, it's probably the comments like drowned out. But there was a woman who was like, "Oh, you got a dark skinned man in the video. Ooh." I remember seeing that shit. Was like, so yeah, the comments not gonna even, it's thousands of comments, right? Look at that, 92,000 plus comments. But the woman was basically saying, "Oh, you got a dark skinned man too. Ooh, girl, you go, girl." So I'm like, that's your fucking community right there. You know, they prefer dark skin. Okay, have fun there. You know, I'm an outside observer just looking and laughing because all the other mulattoes I know are doing pretty fine, but you still have some of you guys stuck in a communitah. Haven't figured this out yet. Let me continue on fair use.
I am one of the women up there's clothing designer, and I have been on several experiences with her where people will say, "Oh, she's so ugly," and they say that because she's dark, and she possesses all the inherent features of what.
Well, Lupita is very dark skinned and she's very beautiful. I always kind of uplift Lupita, the actress, who's very dark skinned, good representation. Even Brandy, I can say her as well, the musician kind of actress as well. Brandy, so I don't adhere to that because definitely those women have feminine features. And the funny thing is even they'll pull this crap and they'll say featureism or texturism. They'll throw in some other things. So a fat bitch can kind of act like she can compete. You got to go to the gym. I mean, you know, Lupita and Brandy, yeah, they're in shape, they're feminine, they, you know, it's amazing how they make up all these kind of struggle terms, right? When they can't compete in society. Like you hear the terms texturism. What type of shit is that texture? Like, you know that lady, Amala, biracial lady? Like she can have her hair as a fro, like just natural hair. I have a preference for women who have curly hair, natural hair. That's my preference. I don't like wigs. I'm not a fan of it. Some women, a lot of women, actually, I'd say a lot, are pretty good at rocking it. Whatever, straight hair, wigs, but I definitely prefer the curls, the natural. So it's like that texturism argument so flawed. And the featureism argument, well, it's like the same women who, because it's women who pull that shit. Men don't put the feature stuff, right? Men have to compete. But that whole featureism thing, it's like, well, why don't you just get in better shape and make some adjustments? I don't get it with the whole featureism thing. Like in those same women, they have preferences for male features, right? They'll say, you're soft and feminine, you're light skin, you're soft, you don't have broad shoulders, you're weaker, you're short. So they can, you know, basically fetishize you and have these feature kind of preferences for you. That's okay because they have a vagina, right? They're special victims. That's okay. But you as a man, oh no, you got to adhere to their fuck out of here. Let me continue on fair use.
Stephanie? Yes, what people consider beautiful. Full lips, high cheekbones, almond eyes. She's a beautiful woman, but people react to her that, oh, she's ugly because she's.
Well, that guy's gay. He said he's a fashion designer. He's gay. Okay, he's invalidated experience. Okay, you know, I know people are not going to like me saying that, but look, guy, I'm a dude. I like women. He's a dude who likes dudes. So we know he's talking this crap. Okay, just you're invalidated. I'm sorry. There's other channels who will adhere to you, but not over
She's a
here.
beautiful woman, but people react.
Okay.
Telling us about her grandmother, and my own limited experience tells me that was common.
I can understand how people feel about those things, and they're valid for each person's experience.
Yes.
But I just don't consider it to be a valid issue in and of itself. It's fundamentally wrong.
Yes, ma'am. You want? Yes, ma'am.
I think that it may be a fact, but we are all black in here, light and dark, and we need to stick together and forget about what color we are.
We need to stick together for the Communitah. This is 1988. And you look at the Divester movement today with the younger generation. You look at the kind of the black male movement, the SYSBM or Passport Bros. I mean, and not only that, as far as the mating and dating habits, but the kind of ethnic lineage kind of a component where you have the ADOS and FBA. People are drawing clear lines of distinction. of the differences, even with someone like me, Mulatto Vanguard, right? Yeah, I mean, this idea where they're pushing this crap back in 1988, we all just black, we need to get together. They've been talking about this get together shit for literally 60 fucking years. More divided than ever. It's a hilarious. And you still hear these people talk about we need to get together. Get together and do what? Smoke blunts and play video games and chase light-skinned women? I mean, I'm talking about from the male perspective now because I hear these dudes out here, these pro whacks. We need to get together, man. Our real enemy is white supremacy and the white man. We need to get together. And of course, she's going to have this masculine posture with her talking about get together. Going to be the one to jump up and be the leader. We need to get together. It's like a masculine. Let's continue on, fair use.
Because politically and everything, we are lacking. We are not together politically. We need to get together and forget about what color we are.
Yeah, but we're not going to fix.
Yeah, right. 1988. Forget about what color we are. Right. Yeah. It's funny because the first thing, if you have a disagreement with a dark skin, the first thing they're going to do is say, you high yellow ass or you light skin. I've been seeing this shit for especially the past couple years, navigating some of those spaces. Even Kevin Samuels, all the dark skin pro wax. If you have any little disagreement with them, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to mention your skin tone, that you're not a darkie like them. The first thing they'll do. So it's always hilarious when I hear that the thing about doesn't matter your skin tone. We need to just get together, you know. Yeah, all right. Sure.
Fix it if you're going to say that you can't fix. White people can't fix racism if they don't.
You see how she jumps back up again? She puts her hand out. Oh, let me stop you. This is masculine. The masculinity is oozing out of this woman. 1988. She can't hold it back. You know, she can't hold that masculinity back. She's like, oh, I'm a queen. I'm a woman queen. I got to let you know what I think, you know.
Acknowledge they have it.
We live in a looks-y society. Men, period, don't like fat women.
Yeah, no shit. It's the same thing today, man. Same thing today. Men don't like fat women. And guess what, sweetheart? Women don't like fat men. Okay, double standards much? I mean, what do you expect? People like people who are healthy, who look disciplined, who are disciplined with their finances, with their physique, with their spirituality. People like people who are disciplined and balanced. It's attractive. So don't sit here and try to shame men because they don't want a fat pig who's not disciplined. No, you know, it's funny because they actually kind of have a fetish like within the black communitah. That's why you have people, some creatures like the multifacial hood rat who's a fat pig, right? Someone like her will get praise from the pookies, the leftovers, kind of the broke black manosphere incels on that channel. They'll kind of give her praise because that's kind of that's celebrated in their community. The BBWs, the overweight women, because their standards are so low, they'll accept that. But other racial groups of men, they don't tolerate that shit. They're like, look, you're overweight, you're a fat pig, go to the gym. Okay. Like every other normal person. Okay. Continuing on, fair use.
It's a whole nother issue. It's a looks-y society. You can't get rid of it. You cannot get rid of it. How many men in here date a woman that weighs 300 pounds? You won't.
Why is she stressing that issue so much though? The men don't want to date a fat woman. Why though? It's like bad health, low lack of discipline, low self-esteem. Why would any man find that to be appealing, right? Especially if you're a man in shape. It's funny because the dating market out here is hilarious. You got some guys. I've seen such an imbalance with every racial demographic too. I can tell you, black, white, Hispanic. I've seen guys who are in shape with just enormous fat pigs. It's like, Jesus Christ. You know, I've seen it, man. And you literally have guys out here that will go to the gym 6 days a week, right? Working out just to go, home to a fat chick. I don't get it, man. I don't get it, man. I do not get it. It's a fetish to a lot of guys, I feel like. The whole BBW. Get yourself a BBW, like the multifacial hood rat. Get you a BBW, right? Shit. But this woman Doesn't even look like a BBW to me. Doesn't look fat, but she's taking on those issues. She's speaking up for the woman because she's masculine. You can see the feminism oozing out of her, her masculine posture where she's yelling to the audience. She's standing up like a militant pro-whack. Like, we need to come together as a community. It doesn't matter your color. These men, they don't want fat chicks. You see how she's so passionate about this, right? That's that feminism, that masculinity oozing out of her, right? Yeah. You're not fooling anybody, miss. Continuing on, fair use.
Well, let's
So
go.
what? It's a preference. So then you have some men that prefer.
Yeah, some men what?
Then you have some men that prefer a light-skinned woman over a black woman because they feel that they are so beautiful.
I want to stop right there. You guys heard her. She said some men will prefer a light-skinned woman over a black woman. So her herself, as a quote unquote black woman, she just clearly laid out the difference between light skin and black. She literally publicly told you there's a difference. They're not the same. A lot of you guys don't get the hints, the clues, right? You don't pick up on that. Like I said, I'm an outside observer, okay, analyzing this stuff, but there's kind of some overlap because you have a lot of mulattoes who are stuck in the crab bucket, who are can't figure out a way out, but some of them, they found their place, right? They found their place. It gives them purpose as a virtue signal or to serve. Like Obama said, your purpose is to serve, to bridge a gap, right? But she clearly laid it out that light skin and black are different. She didn't include the two in the same group. Let me rewind that. Listen to that again, guys.
Some men that prefer.
Yeah, some men what?
Then you have some men that prefer a light-skinned woman over a black woman because they feel that
A light-skinned woman over a black woman. But isn't there a lot of black women who are quote unquote light skinned? So what's with the separation? That's the funny part when I hear this. I'm like, well, wait a second. Aren't they the same? Don't you have quote unquote light skinned blacks like Rock Newman said? He's black identified, of course, because we're going to find out later on he had a traumatic experience that altered his perception, you know. But these people tell you publicly that you're not the same as them. And a lot of you, quote unquote, light skinned and you fucking cry racials haven't figured it out yet. You know, have fun over there. Fair use.
they are so beautiful and they're so close to white that they can have beautiful like kids with the long hair.
Yes. But see,
okay.
but this kind of testimony.
It's all preference, okay? The Communitah queens, it's all preference. They're mad because they're dark-skinned, pookie thugs are choosing light-skinned women over them. This has been the case for 40 fucking years. This has been a long time. So they still want to hold up this facade that light skin is preferred in the Blackistan. No, only if you're a woman. You know, they're not getting the male perspective. When the man jumped up and said his perspective, the Communitah queen who needs a Planet Fitness card, she told you, oh no, it's the woman, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, because it's gynocentric. The Communitah queens, most of your black politicians are women. Okay, 75+% illegitimacy rate, bastard baby kids. Okay, the women control the community. Your teachers, your nurses, your politicians, the women. Okay, so they're the ones dictating, making the rules there. And the men, most of them are misandrous and simp enforcers. They do what they're told. They obey their white massa, and they're jealous of biracial men. We get that. If you're a logical biracial man, you get the fuck out, you know, and you observe and make sure if you deal with them, you can make sure they pay you or dance for you. But everything in this lady that I'm looking at the sample of the audience members, it's the women jumping up. It's like, oh, it's about, you know, preference. You know, the men, they choose the light-skinned women. You see that? That's all it is to them. It's the light-skinned women are preferred. But you as a light-skinned man, what the fuck are you doing? You know, like I'm saying, not even say light-skinned. If you're a mulatto guy, if you're biracial or, you know, black, white, mulatto cat, what the fuck are you doing, man? I know we already know Rock Newman. He's an old timer from the civil rights era, civil rights retread. He's a virtue signaler. It gives him purpose. And there's other guys too. Rock Newman's one, but there's many others I've talked to. They have a purpose there to serve. Okay. And it's 2023 going in 2024. I don't know how that's going to be sustainable, to be honest with you, moving forward, because these younger people, these Gen Zs, especially what I'm seeing over on TikTok, they're not going to serve these people in that capacity. We're asking for something in return now. And of course, you will oblige. Of course. Continuing on, fair use.
Now, hold on a minute. This kind of testimony has to do with gender. The sisters believe this, and the males are saying, nah, it doesn't exist.
That's not what I'm saying.
Because I had a friend, and
Of course, it's a gender component that's always overlooked when you deal with these people because they have a gynocentric viewpoint. The orientation's always geared towards what the black woman wants and her needs. Most of these black men are raised by single black mothers. Most of them are simp enforcers. They're misandrist. They're going to compete against other men for the leftovers and scraps. So, of course, it's always going to fall in line to what the woman wants. But the light-skinned man, he doesn't get a say. He just got to accept. Nah, fuck that. I'm telling you right now. Look, I'm an outside observer. I'm not going to deal with the fucking leftovers. If you're not, no. It's hilarious that some people act like they got to get a passport and fly to another country to find purpose. I'm like, I can do shit here as well as I'm doing. And yes, I do have a passport. I have a lot of options, but I'm sitting here looking at this like I don't deal with these people, man. If they're not fucking paying me, fuck that. You want me to accept the scraps or something, the baby mamas? Are you kidding me? There's a lot of people who deal with that. And it's a sad position. Let me continue on. Fair use.
he asked, I told him, I said, I have a girlfriend I want you to meet. He said, well, is she light skin or brown skin? I said, does it matter? He said, well, I don't date light skinned women because they think they got their butt on their shoulders. They think they're too cute. Okay.
I would just like to bring out the point that I do know of a small Southern college that
Like I said, you look at the audience, it's all African American people. So you're dealing with conquered people, okay? If I can say that in simpler terms, you're dealing, and I know a lot of people are not gonna like that, they're gonna be angry, flag the video. You're dealing with conquered people, okay? And of course, you have a white man in the middle who's more than happy to oblige because he's gonna get the views and the prestige from it. But I'm a biracial guy, right? Mulatto guy, half white, half black. So I'm sitting here like, look, this population, like, what comes from this? Are you going to get job opportunities, leads to more potential business, or even a suitable mate? You look at the selection of the audience, they're all crying about skin complexion. Do you see a potential mate out of that population pool in that audience, we could say? So yeah, he's interviewing all these people. It's like you're dealing with damaged people who are conquered. I mean, it's not hard to observe this. This is very clear. Let's continue on, fair use.
to be admitted, you have to send in a photograph with your application. And if you're light skinned, you was accepted. If you're dark skinned, you was rejected.
Listen,
that's a fact.
There are clubs now, or have been, private clubs that determined whether or not you got in was determined by how you matched a paper.
And he loves this. That's why in the thumbnail I got him in the middle. He loves this. He's making all the ratings, the show, and of course blacks will oblige because he's their massa. They want to make sure they know. They just want a pat on the head. They love him. What they hate about the biracial, these racist blacks, they don't like about the biracial is that you're closer to them than they are. Okay, it's always will be that. Okay, it's not that complicated to figure out. What they hate about you is that you are closer to their massa than they are. Okay, just like I did a video, I uploaded the video the other day where some dude is literally wishing Jim Crow on us again. I wish I can take you 20-year-old mixed people back in time to Jim Crow so that the whites will let you know their color. I mean, literally, you got these slaves out here wishing Jim Crow on you. And it all stems back from this, their white massa. I don't give a damn any fucking pro-whack, the irritated genie, Dr. Umar Johnson, Tariq Fraud Sheed, all these pro-whacks. I don't give a shit about all the pro-whack rhetoric because I've met them. I haven't met irritated genie. I met Dr. Umar. I met Maxine Waters. I met Tariq Rashid. Okay, I met these people. Look, all of these pro-whacks, they love white people. As soon as you figure that out, all your black nationalists, your pro-whacks, they love white people. As soon as you figure that out, then you realize that's the situation you're in. They're jealous of you. They're mad and angry at you because they wish they were in your position so they could be closer to their massa. Once you realize that, you're liberated. And just move forward with the plan where you can galvanize support and keep doing what you're doing. With what I'm doing is something independent and unique from what my adversaries are doing. Let me continue on. Fair use.
Per bag. You probably know this. Now, let me just show you Frank's Place. Frank's Place, the TV show. Watch this. The guy wants to go to a club, and she's calling him on. The influence of your childhood. And if your family is celebrating lightness,
Let me tell you something. You know what's right and you know what's wrong. I don't care who you are. If you have any amount of intelligence, we're all born.
You haven't even been what?
So like I said, I'm going to fast forward some stuff in this clip and gonna listen to this caller. Biracial lady calls up.
I'm glad you waited, caller. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm half white and half black. I haven't even been wanted by my own family.
You haven't even been what?
Wanted by my own family. I'm not allowed in my brother's house. And what do? In school, the blacks didn't want...
I can hear a kind of Eastern Seaboard accent over that 1988 dial-up phone. So I'm guessing the East Coast, yeah. Biracial woman. Yeah, let's continue on.
Me because I was too light. I couldn't be black, and the whites didn't want me because I was too dark.
And she nods her head and she agrees. Yeah, it's a very common theme that we know. Okay, the blacks don't like you because you're too light, because they're jealous of you, of course. We know the blacks are jealous. They wish they were light-skinned. And then, of course, the whites. Now, her, this older woman, she's saying the whites don't like her because she's considered too black, right? Interesting predicament for that woman. Now, for me, I haven't had as many challenges, what I've noticed within the white community. For me personally, as a millennial guy, I've realized, well, shit, there's a lot of resources, jobs. There's a lot of challenges with the men, I'd say. Is ultra competitive. White men are super competitive. So there's going to be more challenges there navigating in the groups. But it's nowhere near the same as when you get around the blacks. Just the jealousy and envy is so apparent. It's so appalling. The tribalistic nature of them. You can't, it's like unavoidable. Where the whites will be a little more civil with their competitive nature. With the blacks, it's like straight savagery. Right. A lot of these guys, they just try to punk them straight up. Well, you're light skinned, you're weaker. They'll try to punk you or throw insults and stuff like that. Right. But then when a non-black person insults them, they cry racism like a bitch. You guys notice that? They'll even say that about me, that I'm racist. And fuck, you haven't heard nothing yet. This is YouTube, homie. If we were face to face, you think I'm bad on YouTube? Shit. You think I'm racist here on YouTube, abiding by the community standards, man. I'm really gonna hurt your fucking feelings if we ever meet in person. Let me tell you that. But I just pointed that out. It's funny how it's, they cry when a non-black person, right, says something mean to them. But then they say something mean to you because you're light skinned and you're just supposed to accept it. A lot of you people do. A lot of you are punks. A lot of you biracials, you're a bunch of fucking punks. I can proudly publicly say that because you are. And I've been analyzing you guys for the past year or so. You guys just get fucking punked by these blacks, not me. I'll take the racism badge or the quote unquote white supremacy badge. I'll take that. But you're not going to come over here thinking you're going to fucking punk me, bitch. It's not going to happen with me. Okay? But let's continue on. Fair use.
Well,
how do you fight this your whole life? My father didn't want me, yet his mother was black.
Yeah.
My mother was the only one that protected me.
Yeah, Linda commenting.
What's your name?
Oh, shit, don't do that.
Right. Right. Okay. What we got here? All right. Back up in the house. So fair use is all thing. I think I got a cat up in the house. What's up, man? Says loving it. Of course, and you put here as well. We are black until we have an option. Yeah, I got something for you here.
Spartans! What is your profession?
That's interesting. Even before we have an option, I mean, it's for me personally. I can say a lot of them they let me realize I have an option because I knew the kind of how I can say this, the competitive nature with white men and the competitiveness in the United States of America, the American society, capitalist society, ultra competitive, and I can see the nature. And yeah, so how do I want to phrase this? I'm kind of losing some words, train of thought here. You say we're black until we have an opinion. Yeah. Okay. I think I misread that. A little late for me. Yeah, option, opinion. But I think both of that makes sense. Yeah. When we have an opinion, then we're not black. That's been the case. Like, and there's other people I've done a review on, other young women too, who basically said this similar thing. He's like, "Oh, I'm black, but if you vote for Republican, you know, or you disagree with their victim mindset, you're not black." But even before then, that's what I wanted to say. Even before that, even if you don't agree with them or you don't have the same opinion as them or something, they're the ones who are going to let you know that you're not a part of their group. They're tribalistic savages, a lot of them. So they'll let you know that you're not a part of their group. You're not a part of the dark skinned victim club, right? So they'll let you know. So they kind of make it easy for you to galvanize and to organize. They make it easy for you. In my situation, I don't have to do a lot of work. I mean, I'm not putting any money into this endeavor. I mean, just some time, attention. I'm at work and I craft some material. This is very simple for me to do this. I could be doing anything else. I have other endeavors. I have students, I want to get more students. Okay. I have other goals and ambition in life, but they make it so easy for you because the outgrouping is so apparent, and it's so obvious today, the outgrouping that's going on. And I just feel sorry because I heard a lot of feelings, like I said, mostly for these biracials, okay? These black identified biracials. And I think as well. You probably interacted with a bunch of them too. Just examining social media, whether it's Facebook, TikTok, especially TikTok, but for sure Facebook. You're in some of these biracial groups, right? And all over social media. Yeah, I mean, YouTube, whatever. A lot of these biracials who are basically black ass kissers, or they got a black mama, they were raised around blacks in the hood. So they see a guy like me, you're damn right I'm gonna hurt their feelings. They don't think they can be something else other than a light-skinned black. They don't think they can be a biracial or a mulatto. They're even trying to come up with a whole new name. They're like, I don't like the word mulatto. I want to use another term. Oh, go have fun, do that. Let's see how far you get. But don't steal my shit. I know you people are listening and watching me. Don't steal my shit and try to act like you're going to develop something that's comparable. But that's, very interesting. You pointed it out. Let me get back to this video. Continuing on, fair use.
I can relate a lot to her because I grew up in a black neighborhood. The blacks didn't accept me.
See, I didn't grow up in a black neighborhood, so I never had that acceptance problem. Where I grew up, I did have I've always had black friends. Even today, I'm not racist. I have black friends, right? I'm not racist. It's funny because you'll have some of these savages. They'll tell you you're a racist, you're a white supremacist. Oh, okay, thank you. So you're letting me know I'm not black. Because remember, blacks can't be racist. Remember that? Isn't that what they tell you? Because they ain't got no power. They victims. They ain't got no power. They can't be a racist. So they're telling you you're a racist. Okay, yeah, you're acknowledging that I'm not like you. I'm not a black. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Good. But this thing I want to say is that I didn't grow up around blacks. All well, in a sense, I did because my family. Okay, so it's kind of measured, I guess you can say. And then like my mailman was black. I had black teachers. I had a couple black teachers in elementary school. But I've always been surrounded. I've always had like black friends, even as a very youngster, very young child. When I used to have hair, at a black barber. So I always had black people around in my community. This is in Anaheim, California, Disneyland, which is a pretty diverse community. But yeah, so I've always had black people around me in my upbringing, but it wasn't predominantly black. I guess that's the key word is predominantly. They weren't the majority. And I feel like in the environment that I grew up in, I functioned very properly in that environment where they're not the predominant majority. As an adult, navigating their spaces when I realize where they're the predominant majority, you're looking for trouble. Okay, if you're not dark skinned, if you're not a criminal pookie or a baby mama or some savage, look, you're looking for trouble. If you're a decent man, you're a mulatto man with your head on straight, you're a good person, good work ethic. Look, they're gonna try to use you. They're gonna claim all your wins and they're gonna outgroup you. So, like for this lady, she's basically saying that, yeah, she grew up around them and she wasn't black enough around them. Yeah, it's different from me because I didn't grow up around them like that. It's completely different from me, but I definitely sympathize with her and I acknowledge her because this was 1988, where I'm like, look, today, 2023, you have a lot of people out here who are basically sharing your sentiments. Now, I'm one of the bad guys here. Okay. I'm the guy who's going to ruffle feathers. I'm going to say some mean things. I'm the bad guy. I get that. I'm one of these guys because when I look at these mulatto discussions, these quote unquote mixed race discussions, it's all intertwined with this rainbow LGBT stuff. And I'm not a part of that stuff. And what you often find with all this rainbow stuff is they're pro black. So you never even left the damn Communitah. They want to act like they're creating something different. That's the hilarious part about it is a lot of these mixed people with their little mixed spaces on social media, but you see they have a rainbow flag somewhere. They're all pro black. you know most people just see me as I'm just a black. Well, then just be a black. Why do you create a whole social media page about being mixed when you're clearly not into this like some of us are out here? I'm one of those guys. I don't know. I think I find it what I can say basically just I ruffle feathers and I like that. I like that. I think it's good because I need to kind of thin the herd. I don't want weak people around me who are going to cry and complain every step of the way. My whole thing is, look, if you don't like it, go do something else. Go create something because you have a lot of people that even have Facebook pages and all this stuff, but all they do is they're commenting on everybody else. They're not creating a channel or uploading content, developing something unique to the mulatto experience or biracial. Because I know a lot of you crybabies don't like the word mulatto because you're serving blacks, of course. That's always what it is. The people who don't like the word mulatto, number one, they're serving blacks. Okay. Number two, they're LGBT. And of course, we look at it, it's like, yeah, basically within the kind of mulatto group, the mixed race black white group, it's probably some of the gayest people you're going to find. Unfortunately, okay, I don't like the fact that this is the way it is, but this is what I see when I analyze social media. The gayest people that I'm seeing are within the kind of mulatto group. It fucking sucks, but it is what it is. I didn't make the rules. I'm just observing this stuff. And this is why I ruffle a lot of feathers because I don't fall in line with that. And they even have a term, they develop a term, the black nationalist, black supremacist, they irritated genie. He developed a term called homolotto. That's a term he developed, and it's quite comical. It's sad at the same time, but it's very accurate. He says a homolotto because a lot of these damn mulattoes are pro LGBT, and it fucking sucks because I don't fall in line with that philosophy and that lifestyle. Sorry, I mean, you know, if you don't like it, go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. I tell people every stream, look, unsubscribe, don't follow me, Block me on social media. Good. I don't want you here. I want people who are proud to be mixed race, black and white. I want those people here. Okay. Period. Okay. If you're going to bring in all the pro WAC and pro LGBT, all the other stuff, you're in the wrong place. Okay. Let me continue on for use.
I grew up in a white home environment. My mother was white, my grandparents were white, my father was not home. So I realized it very early that I was different. I was treated as white by the blacks, and I knew I wasn't white when I
Look at all them. Look at all them, all dark skin. Looking at her. Why you talking, girl? We need you to try to prove to us you black quang. Look at her face. That's so funny. I love it. I didn't grow up around these people. My grandma's black, right? So yeah, I grew up around my grandma, but I wasn't in like a little witch coven like with these quains here. You're in some sisterhood kind of witch coven where they're making the rules. Like I said, they have all the children. The illegitimacy rate over 70%. Of course, like I said, the politicians, the nurses, the teachers, and then like 80% are the quains, the woman quains. So they're running shit over there. And I didn't grow up. They weren't my counsel. I didn't go to them asking for advice. I didn't give a fuck what they said about anything. You're not running shit over here. But you can tell how they're kind of looking at her. They want her to serve. You gotta prove your blackness if you want to be down with the hood. And of course, because Pookie wants you more than us, because you light skinned. Ooh, girl, we really gonna make you work hard for it. Shit.
compared myself with my mother.
And you were treated as black by the whites.
Right.
All right.
When I finally became in my
It's funny because she looks more white than she looks black, but whatever.
20s, I resolved it. And I resolved it by affirming all of who I am. And I think that's the resolution. You can't.
It is a resolution. So I really like how she articulates it. She said it in her 20s. Now, for me, it was kind of later than you. I'm looking at this now. I'm happy that I found out who this lady is because, yeah, for me, it was like later in my 20s where I finally realized, well, the solution, the resolution is basically to affirm all of who you are. And that is the solution. That's what I try to encourage people. But of course, like I said, I ruffle feathers because too many majority of biracials in America, United States of America, are a bunch of black ass kissers. And so I don't know why they even watch my shit. It's like, I'm going to hurt your feelings. I don't know, but I have a lot of people who watch me who swear they're like biracial or proud mulatto. You're just mean. Okay, well, go listen to one of these, if you think I'm mean, I mean, shit. Go listen to one of your quains over there. Let's see how nice they are, right? If you think I'm the mean guy here. But yeah, continue on for use.
Cannot say I am black only and ignore the rest of your lineages. Because that, what's that saying? That's saying one drop of black blood and you're black. And let me say,
go ahead, please make your point.
That logic was started by the white slave masters to oppress as many blacks as they could.
Now, what logic?
The logic that one drop of black blood makes you black. And that same logic is used today in South Africa to oppress as many people as possible.
Well, it's used in the United States of America. Now, I'm not going to use the word oppress because as we see in white society today, the one drop rule is still prevalent, but blacks hold on. African Americans, I got to be specific. The former slaves, some of them are still, they kind of act like slaves, but they still uphold the one drop policy more than anybody in the nation. I have Latino people, Mexicans are like, what are you? What are you? They don't ask a dark-skinned black, what are you? Okay, they ask a guy like me, ambiguous, like, what are you? Are you Puerto Rican? Are you Brazilian? What are you? People just walk up to you and start speaking Spanish. And so, like I said, even with the white population in America, United States of America, where everybody knows that we're mixed. They look at this woman on the screen. Nobody's going to look at her and think she's like just some African, some black. No, everybody knows we've been here for millennia or centuries, I should say, in North America. And I remember in in Portland, Oregon, several years back when I visited the city of Portland, Oregon. Actually, it wasn't Portland. It was in Oregon, the state, but it was in Klamath Falls. And a white lady I was talking to was like, "Are you mulatto?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm mulatto." That was one of the first times that someone's ever identified me as a mulatto, as a just general kind of observation. It wasn't an insult, wasn't a slur. It was an actual racial classification. You could say, "Are you biracial?" But you have people who are white and Asian who are biracial. You have people who are Mexican and white who are biracial. She looked at me as a white lady, Anglo-Saxon, okay, blonde hair, blue eyes. She was like, "You're a mulatto?" I was like, "Yes." Immediately, right away, I was like, "Yes, yes, yes, I am. Yes, that's me. I'm the black, white, biracial mixed person. Yes." So the only people who uphold this one drop bullshit really are black people, black Americans. Like I said, let me be specific. The former slaves, African Americans in America. I just don't see the Caucasian population, the white population, upholding it like they did prior generations. It's not the same today. And you're talking to these old timers like Rock Newman and his ilk, these light skinned saviors and pro wax. They're literally trying to get you to be scared of all these white people. Oh, when you're in a room full of them, they gonna let you know that you really colored. When the police pull you over, they gonna let you know. Okay, what about when the black police pull you over? What about when you're in a room full of these blacks? See, that's the part they always leave out. What about then? What are these fucking blacks gonna start saying? Right? They're going to make their light skin jokes. See, that's the part they always conveniently leave out. Right? My job here is to spread awareness for you people. Right? Fair use.
And I am not going to deny my mother and her relatives and my American
But that's
Indian
because
relatives.
you're a very healthy, centered woman. Not this woman with whom we spoke a moment ago on the phone. I think your advice to her is she has got to put this together all by
got to accept all of who she is, affirm all of who she is,
and
not let anybody tell her who she can and cannot identify with.
Over here, please.
Yeah, that affirmation is critically important. This is back in 1988, before I was born. So I'm very thankful and happy for this beautiful mulatto woman to sit here on national television to have this affirmation of this kind of multiracialness for her, where she's saying, just don't let anybody tell you how you should identify. This is very revolutionary. This is before the internet, because as we see today, I mean, like I'm seeing in these so-called mixed spaces, most of these people are just black ass kissers. Like I'm like one of the outliers here. I'm like one of the quote unquote, what do they say, extreme ones. I think that someone's used a term. I think it was multifacial hood rat. And she's a racist baby mama, but she used the term extremist, I think, with me, which I think is kind of comical. But I'm one of the guys who adds this layer of specificity where it's like, look, I'm laying out the basically the differences, where I'm not necessarily excluding someone who's black and Asian or European and Asian or any other kind of racial configuration. I'm laying a clear line that someone who's mulatto, black, white is very specific in the United States versus these other groups because of the racial binary nature of this nation. And the one drop rule, which is still very prevalent in the society. But what I find is that it's mainly the former slaves, you call it ADOS, who uphold that one drop rule. And they need it because they need political influence. They need the numbers. So they abide by that. They want the ability to claim all your wins, like Charles Drew, Barack Obama. They want to claim all of these mulattoes. At the same time, they want to throw your ass under the bus and exclude you. If you don't vote Democrat, if you don't pat them on the back for being a proud slave, they want to throw your ass under the bus and say, "Oh man, because you don't got two black parents, you ain't from the hood, you don't know what it's like to be me, to be a proud victim," right? And I'm just letting other people know, look, you got another option out here. Don't play these games with these people, man. Stop being a fucking fool. There's other options out here. Let me continue on, fair use.
Well, me growing up, my sister was dark skinned. My parents are from Barbados, West Indies.
Yeah, so we know it's just some proud, victim babble, we all dark skin and we got light skin and dark skin and we all the same people. It's all be down with the hood. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? I work for the white man. I'm wearing a business suit, a suit and tie, but it's the white man's fault. I love the white man, but you light skin and we treat the light skins bad. But just come back to the hood and be my mule. You know what I'm saying? Because we all victims. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the hood. You know what I'm saying? I've heard this shit for years. You people aren't fooling me, homie. Let me continue on. I want to fast forward it because, like I said, I respect your guys' time and I want to get to kind of the main points. I'll share the whole video clip so you guys can go back and watch the kind of original initial clip, but I'm not going to be up here all night. I've already been an hour, 40 minutes. I'm surprised I lasted this long. Let me continue on for use.
That we're sitting here discussing what might be called the lighter shade of pale.
But but please don't.
The problem's not going to go away. I don't expect the problem. I don't expect the problem to go away, and I know that there is a problem, but I feel that a part of the problem is that the lighter skinned people of our society also tries to form their own society, which does not help us to get together as a people.
You guys hear that? She said she feels a problem is that the lighter skinned people of the society try to form their own group, which doesn't help their people. You guys see that? You guys see that? There's a lot to unpack there. Now, from my personal, like I said, mulatto perspective, the title of this stream, Colorism in the Communitah, mulatto perspective, the light skin, quote unquote, light skin people, I'm going to say mixed people, biracial, okay, black, white, mulattoes. We form our own group as protection away from you, a lot of you savages. Okay, in simpler terms, savages who want to devour us and use and abuse us. You want to dox us and harass us and intimidate us. So we need our own groups as protection away from you. That's the whole purpose. But see, they don't look at it like that. They're like, well, wait a second. You're trying to separate and do something different from us. That's a bad thing. You don't want us to come together. Look, you're going to have more. To me, I know that. You're going to have more people on your side. These quote unquote MGMs or MLS or light skinned blacks or even the biracials. You're going to have most of the cry racials. They're going to go kiss your ass. That's fine. They can go over there. I want the serious ones over here who are proud of their European and African heritage, who are balanced. I want them over here. Okay. I'm not going to chase them. I'm not going to kiss their butt. Okay. But I will encourage them. Hey, you have a place over here too. But yeah, she has an issue with that, with us trying to create our own thing. But I'm telling you, we're doing it for protection from you people. Because a lot of them, they feel like they own you. They feel like your purpose is to serve them and their sensibilities. And you get nothing out of it. Like I said, if you're a man, like you had that psychologist up there from Howard University who's telling you, look, they prefer dark skin. All these queens up here, these baby mamas, single moms, Communitah queens with their crack baby kids, they prefer the dark pookie thug because he's a sexy thug. He from the hood. They prefer. So you're sitting there like, what the fuck is in it for me? And it's a funny thing when you look at the Divester movement, the dust vesters, they all want the dark-skinned pookie thug. They're all just a bunch of disgruntled femcells, okay? Because the dark-skinned pookie thug is getting the preference, chasing after the biracials, the Latinas, and white women, whatever, light skin. So they're all just disgruntled. That's why I'm surprised when I see these biracial men, or I should say males, because they don't act like men. They act like punks. Males, biracial males. And they got black mamas. I don't know where their white daddies are. Their white daddy didn't slap them, put them in check. But they got black mamas. And they're sitting there basically placating. And they are basically promoting. Their whole channels are branded around hating black men and uplifting black women. You have biracial men like that on YouTube. They have channels where they're pro-black women channels, and all they do is talk shit about black men. The same black women you promote, these divestors on your channel, they don't even like your biracial ass. You're not getting no pussy from these chicks. You don't even get to smell that, they're not even letting you smell it. You're not getting nothing from those women. Those same black women that you're supposedly create a safe space for, you're just talking shit about black men. All those divestors, those black queens, they want the black man. They want the dark skin, the thug, the pookie. They're disgruntled people. They're temporarily mad at the pookie, the Tyrone, because he's picking his preference, which is the biracial woman or the Latina, right? That's why I laugh. I see these guys. I'm not going to name the names. I'm not going to give them any clout, but we know who they are. We got biracial guys, but they got black mamas, white dads. Their white dads are not around to slap them, put them in check. So, their whole channel is geared towards black women. I'm like, those same women, I'm going to repeat this. They want the black men. They don't even want your biracial ass. And you can't figure that shit out, bro. Like, and I've had plenty of black chicks. Yeah, it's for fun, for sure. But at the end of the day, they don't like you. They have a preference for the dark-skinned pookie thug. They want to be bastard baby makers, be baby mamas, over 75% plus out of wedlock birth rate, illegitimacy rate. I didn't make the rules. Don't hate on me. These are the statistics. These are the numbers. The same guys they cry about all day. Okay, those are the same guys they want. So I just laugh. I see these biracial dudes, their whole channel, they got all these black women on their channel, on their comment section, liking them. I'm like, those chicks don't even like you, bro. They think you're weak because you're light skinned, you're biracial. They want the dark skinned thug. You haven't figured that shit out yet, bro? Fucking give me a break, man. You guys are a joke. Give me a break. You haven't figured that out yet. All these women here in this video on this stream, all these black queens, they're crying because their dark-skinned pookie thugs don't prefer them. That's what it is. That's all it is, man. It doesn't take long to figure this out, guys. Okay? Continuing on for you. It's almost done here, guys.
I said some. I said some. Some.
Why can't she say that without making you angry? Yeah. Please.
I think a lot of it is society that's separating us. Society is telling us that we are different, so we are different. Look at black videos. The only person in the video is black is the musician. I mean, that's how it is.
Yes, ma'am. You'll stand.
Yes, there are several issues I'd like to discuss. Okay.
All right.
Well, first of all, in terms of black, when you talk about black, you're talking about a political idea. The idea is that as black people, intellectually, you understand it. You said it was negative. White people said it was a negative concept. We as blacks, we come over any rainbow of hue, any hue you have. No one comes.
We all black. It doesn't matter what hue, doesn't matter what color. We all black. We all from the Communitah. We all black. Black comes in all shades, blah, blah, blah. As soon as you disagree with them, they're going to let your ass know you're not black like them, that you're light skinned. You got a white mom. You're not just as black as them. So all that whole rainbow and different hues goes out the window. Okay.
Like us. Not only that, Dr. Banks was saying that we do not have that schism that you're saying. If we did, like it was said last night by a friend of mine, why, if they separated light against dark, why do we have so many brown people here? We all miscegenate. That's not something. Plus, I want to ask you.
We all mixed. I'm an MGM. I'm a light-skinned black. We all mix. My great-great-great-great-great-granddaddy's uncle's cousin's next-door neighbor's pet dog is -7% European. So we all mix. You know what I'm saying? We all from the hood. But I'm a dark-skinned queen. I'm a sister from the hood. I'm dark-skinned. Ooh, girl. They had that Black Panther movie, and in that Black Panther movie, it was all dark skins, girl. Ooh, yeah. Representation matters, girl. It was all dark skins, girl. Ooh, girl. And just like we saw that video with Ella May. Remember that girl Ella May? They had that video talking about booed up. And even though you biracial, ooh, girl, you had that dark-skinned man next to you, girl. Ooh, girl, it's all dark skin. We all black, you know what I'm saying? But ooh, girl, you got the dark skin next to you. So I'm showing you guys, being sarcastic, the game they play with you to reel your ass, to reel your ass back in to serve them. Where they're the majority, you're the minority. Look at this lady right here. Picture perfect example. Exemplified. Look at this lady here, light and bright, got some African phenotype features. We can kind of tell. There's the whole audience is a bunch of blacks. Okay, we can tell here. Looking at this image, she's very pale skin, damn near white. Right, guys? Right? We can kind of tell maybe the nose, the lips, right? The bone structure, her cheekbone structure, probably African features. I don't know, octoroon if you want to be super technical. She's probably got some black up in her. Maybe she's black identified. I don't know. She's got the white turtleneck on. Look at the audience. Everyone's biggity black, black. A bunch of black faces all around. And this quote unquote one white face isn't even really white. It's probably just a white person, but that's black identified, right? Enculturated in blackness and phenotypically has some presentable African features, Negroid features, right? That's the whole point, is you're a minority in their group. So when you have her standing up here as a spokesperson, we all hues around the rainbow. We come in different colors and shades. We all pro-wax. You're going to have to adhere to her standards because you're a minority in their group. When you have your own independent category, you make the rules. They don't make the rules. They don't get a say. They don't dictate policy over here. That's what a lot of these people haven't figured it out yet when they're in that group, because they feel like it's easier when they're in that group. They can be the little special light skin. You can be the little special light skin. You could be the virtue signaler. You're doing God's purpose, serving them. They get all the benefits. You don't get shit. I laugh. I don't. It's whatever. Yeah.
Something that is prevalent among the Caucasians also. Why does
Hey, look at all this here. Everyone's black. The whole audience is black. And you got this one woman right here. It's a different woman. You look at her, it's probably an octoroon, whatever, mulatto. I don't know. But it's like the audience is clearly, if you have like I said, the multiracial woman who is up there, I forgot her name exactly, but yeah, they're not going to be applauding her because she's like, look, we're different. They're like, you're trying to divide us. They need you in their group because they can punk you. You could be a subordinate. They're the majority. You're going to be this little ambiguous multiracial minority in their group. And they can basically use you, absorb you, and you're going to be at their beck and call, right? I don't, like I said, I'm not a part of their group. So I'm an outside observer looking at this. And I see the white man here who's direct. It's hilarious. These people don't dictate any policies to me. All they can do is cry and tell their white massa, he's a bad guy. Look at him. He's bad. Don't trust him. Don't deal with him. Look at him. Look what he's done. He's a bad guy. All they can do is basically shame you, attempt to humiliate you, and cry to their white massa. They have no influence on me. Okay. It's going to continue to move on. I'm one dude. There's plenty of others after me. Okay. Let's continue on. Almost done, guys. Fair use.
does everyone want to be a blonde? Why do white children tell you, or adults tell you, when I was young, I was blonde? No, you are whatever you are, and however you advanced, as you age, you got darker. So look at it from a really intellectual point of view, as opposed to an emotional.
I'm trying to. Yeah.
The point is not that there is no schism.
Please listen.
The point is not that there is no schism. In our research at Howard, the very first thing we found is that there are at least 140 different individual distinctions that black people make as a function of complexion. So there's no question that distinctions and discriminations are there. The point I was making initially is that that schism, if and when it exists, does not simply run along the line of light-dark. What the research shows consistently is that black people prefer brown. They do not prefer light. They do not prefer dark. They prefer brown. That is not to say that they don't have some preference, but it is not at either extreme.
Are you there, caller? Let me get this caller on.
Interesting. I guess you could say that middle ground. They prefer brown. Yeah, they don't prefer light. Now, if you're a male, like the man eloquently explained it, they're not preferring you. I don't know, and yeah, like I said, I don't want to say it again. Yeah, whatever. Let me continue on. Fair use.
Here. Go ahead.
Hello? Okay.
The point I'm trying to make, I'm a white man, and I'm married to a young lady of color, and we have a 5-year-old son. And what we encounter every day of our life is people of color resent us, and they hate us. If my wife walks down the street alone, they'll accept her. But let her walk down the street with me and my son, my wife and my son, and we get all kinds of looks, and people come out and say things. So we find that the majority of black people don't accept the fact of interracial marriages. They don't.
And that the lady acknowledged, yeah, because we all know that a lot of these blacks are racist, right? And they're not getting called out until now. My little YouTube channel, my little social media I have here, oh no, it's ruffling feathers. But yeah, a lot of them are not happy about that. You notice that, guys? And it's funny because, like I said, it's a black woman, white man. There was a guy I remember on Facebook. I was in a Facebook group, and he made a lot of fuss about that too, especially during 2020, during the whole kind of George Floyd thing. He was like, he really went kind of crazy and ballistic. Was like, oh, people give me stares and bad looks. I kind of felt bad for the guy. He's a white man, and he had a black wife. He had biracial children, and he was having a hard time, man. I sympathize with him, right? Because I'm biracial, but I kind of felt bad for him. I was like, damn, a lot of those guys, they don't have it easy. And like, who are they getting those dirty looks from? Is it from majority white, or is it majority black, or both, a mixture of both? Because this is really what goes on out here. People act, I mean, this is 1988, but like I said, what I'm telling you now, my observation from the guy, this was 2020. So it's still something that happens right now where they get these dirty looks from people. And is it a lot of black people, a lot of white people, or a mixture of both? Because what I'm saying is that a lot of these blacks are not innocent. I know they love to be the proud victims, they love to come out here and say, oh, it's everything's white supremacy's fault. They're proud victims. But look at how a lot of them treat biracial people. Look at how they target biracial people. Okay. Even here on YouTube, look at how a lot of these blacks target biracials. They're not victims. Nobody out here seriously feels sorry for them. Like, if you think, YouTube is one thing, you go on Twitter, you see what the whites and the Asians, I mean, nobody feels sorry for these people out here anymore like that. And especially how they treat biracials. The more and more hate that these people give to biracials, right? The less and less people feel sorry for them. And that's exactly what this channel does here. It exposes the hypocrisies of the Communitah and how they are basically not victims. They're going to be held accountable, just like how everyone wants to hold the white supremacists accountable. Everyone wants to hold all the racists accountable. Well, guess what? We're going to hold the black racists accountable as well over here. So get used to it. Fair use. Continuing on.
Like that.
People can say what they want, so we are trying to deny the fact that we do have prejudice among ourselves. We do. Look at yourself when you get married. Most couples are attracted to the opposite complexion. My husband is dark. My 2 children are in between.
So she's a racist. She's a colorist too. My husband is dark. Yes, because you want the dark-skinned pookie thug. Yeah. So yeah, of course. Yeah. And then you're the opposites attract. So the dark-skinned pookie guy, whatever he wants, a light skin. Yeah. I'm not in your community, man. I listen to her accent, the way she's talking, like, man, I'm not in your community like that. Shit. So I'm not even tripping, but I'm observing this stuff. It's hilarious. People want to demonize me. Really? A little guy like me with a little YouTube channel? Really? Thank you for admitting that I have this much influence out here. And yeah.
Most of the time, that is true. You deny it, it's true.
You agree? I agree. That's a true fact. That's a true fact. Hang on a minute. Well, hang on a minute.
I agree that
Hang on a minute.
there is a problem in the black community, and if you do not acknowledge the problem, you will never be able to solve it.
I agree
Never.
with that. I agree with that. But, you're reacting. We shouldn't be surprised.
That's why in the thumbnail, I show Donahue in the center of the discussion. I have Miss Mulatto, and then I have some other lady, ambiguous or unambiguous black lady, and I have Donahue in the center with the thumbnail for the stream. Because look at the audience right now, guys. You look at the audience, all these black people here, and they're all like airing out their dirty laundry, if we can say that, their colorism, the deep kind of implicit biases that they have. And they want this white man, basically an outgroup man, to kind of be the mediary to discuss the situation. It's hilarious. That's their massa. They want his approval. They want his opinion. Oh, please help us with our problem, right? This internalized. They need this guy. They need these people to help them solve, to validate their existence, right? Very damaged, very damaged. And I look at this and I observe it. I'm like, yeah, look, most of these people, like, they're gonna have a preference for dark skin. The men are gonna lie and cry, oh, lie. They're gonna prefer the dark skinned men to all the champions. That's why they're crying about the NBA, because the NBA is becoming lighter and lighter. It's turning back into white, right? Like I talked about how the NBA used to be all white. They have Jerry West is the symbol of the NBA, right? The white icon in the middle. Now you have all these biracials, these mulattoes dominating the NBA. They call it the National Biracial Association. All these blacks, dark skins, all whining and crying, right? So the NBA is becoming increasingly more white and biracial, right? Championship level, right? So they're all gonna pretend that like they're not bothered by that, right? But yet they all prefer the biracial woman, the mulatto woman, right? What I'm saying is, in short terms, they got issues. They got a lot of issues. I'm out here observing this, but they have their massa here, basically, as the kind of in between guy to help them sort out their issues. I love it. It's beautiful. And you see the same thing with the lady, the young woman now, Miss Pearly Things, right? Just Pearly Things. Her name is JPT. Just Pearly Things, right? They're always going to call on their massa to help them solve their situations. And I'm telling you, as a biracial person, what the fuck are you doing over there? Okay. If you're not getting paid, I mean, a lot of you people, you find purpose. I see you people on TikTok, even Instagram. I had to block a lot of you idiots. But I'm like, what do you, if you're not getting anything out of the whole ordeal, at least create content out of it. At least use them as a case study to create content. Get something out of them. Don't just deal with them for free. Don't get a headache and get, annoyed and bothered. At least they need to serve you in some capacity. Okay. Because the way they have it arranged, you're going to be a minority amongst their group. They want to use you. Okay. You need to make sure you get something out of them. And I tell people here to renegotiate your position.
Exactly as a audience of white people reacts on more than one occasion.
The problem has not been faced and has not been acknowledged because here again, look at the NAACP, look at the leadership in the urban.
Yeah, and that's all what you people put there at the forefront. We're about 2 hours into this. I've had the link dropped for a minute, and I got some of you. You got a lot of you people out here watching. You coward ass cloud watchers. You don't even have the courtesy to hit the like button. Or you hit the dislike button. It don't matter, fam. I'm still getting engagement. But I know you hoes are listening, but you don't want to hit the link and challenge the quote unquote rhetoric, right? Because I have, these pro whacks who will sit there and say, it's the rhetoric. It's the rhetoric, but you don't want to challenge the rhetoric. You don't want to get this motherfucking smoke. Got the link dropped. It's been dropped. Nobody hits it. Nobody jumps up. They don't want to challenge this. They want to just go in a safe space on their channel and cry. Look, I created a couple other channels now. I have several channels now. I'm not going to let you people eat off me up on here. I already built this channel up the past year. I'm not going to let you people come up in here and try to eat off me. Okay, I'm going to build my other channel using you fools if you really want that. That's what it is now. So yeah, I've already been here for a minute and it's getting late now. And yeah, I got to get ready for this work week, and I got some other work to do for my students, for my paying customers. So for all you freeloaders, no, I'm just playing. But you supporters, I got some cats here, the dude up in here, Ambrosia. I got some real supporters. So I appreciate all you guys, all you people here. who are true supporters. I really appreciate you guys. Definitely doing this for you. I just wanted to hop up on here and provide my kind of commentary. Definitely ruffle some feathers. Definitely a little rude, for sure. I never said I was going to be the nicest little snowflake up here. Don't know what you guys expect from this channel, because what I've oftentimes I find is everybody's comfortable and okay with being rude to you and invalidating your experience as a biracial, as a mulatto person, right? Someone who's black, white, biracial, mixed race, everybody's is comfortable slandering you, laughing at you, mocking you, invalidating you. But when you do it back to them, all of a sudden it's a big deal. That's why I kind of get a kick coming up here and providing, my commentary, because I'm like, it's laughable the level of low self-esteem and low morale that a lot of biracial people have. They don't feel like they can identify with anything else besides black. Like, they love that slave victim mindset. It's very sad, unfortunately, but I do definitely see a change, especially with the younger crowd. So that's all I got for you guys today. I'm going to end it now, and I'll be back pretty soon. All right. So, beautiful people, until next time, make sure you hit the like button. Okay. For you cloud watchers and you fucking haters, hit the dislike button. Make sure you guys do something. Don't just take up space dusting up the stream and dusting up the chat. Make sure you make yourself worthwhile. Hit the like button, and I will catch you guys on the rebound. So, till next time, ciao.